Today I'm going to be giving you a rundown of the latest Minecraft snapshot. There's a lot to cover, so we best get started. So let's start with copper, Minecraft's newest ore, and this is what it looks like in its rawest form. This is copper ore, and this is the stuff that you'll find in caves. Now what you'll be able to do with this is you'll be able to mine it up, slap it in a furnace or a blast furnace, and you will then obtain one of these things. This is a copper ingot. Now this copper ingot does in fact very closely resemble an iron ingot, and with iron you can make blocks. Copper is no exception to this, so as you can see over here we have some copper blocks. This is just a regular copper block which you can craft just as you would with an iron block, and this is a cut copper block. So you can make this by combining 4 of these copper blocks together in a crafting table. Now this is where it gets interesting. So by now you may have noticed that on top of these copper blocks there are more blocks just of different colors, and all of these blocks are in fact the same block. These are all copper blocks, they are just all in different stages of oxidation. Now oxidation is the process or result of oxidizing or being oxidized, and basically what that means is that over time these copper blocks will begin to weather. So as you can see right here we have the just normal copper block, and the next stage of this is the lightly weathered copper block. This then moves on to the semi-weathered copper block, and finally we have the weathered copper block. So these are all different stages of oxidation. Now I imagine some of you are already thinking, how on earth do I stop this block from weathering and oxidizing in the first place? Because say for example if you wanted to build something using this new extravagant copper block and you didn't want it to begin deteriorating and to turn into this green this greenish block right here, and there is a way to do that, and that is where this stuff comes into play. So essentially what you can do is you can combine the honey with the copper block in the crafting table, and that will prevent it from oxidizing any further, and it will basically keep it in its current state. So you can do that for any of the 4 stages of oxidation. So say for example you wanted to build something using say for example this stage, the semi-weathered copper block. Well, you could get this and you could put it in the crafting table with the honey, and that would essentially keep it in the semi-weathered state. So if you didn't want your copper to oxidize and weather into these different stages, and you did go ahead and combine it with the honey in the crafting table, you would then obtain waxed copper. Now this does look exactly the same as the copper right here. There is no visual difference whatsoever, just in case you were wondering. Now this oxidation process will take some time, anywhere between 50 and 82 Minecraft days in a loaded chunk to go from one stage to the next. And if you're looking to find copper ore in your Minecraft world, you can expect to find it around the same areas as you can iron and coal. So as you can see in this cave we've got a mixture of iron, coal and copper ore. So this copper ore really shouldn't be too hard to find. Up next we have amethyst. Now this is really interesting. So if we take a look over here we have a small amethyst bud, a medium amethyst bud, a large amethyst bud, and finally an amethyst cluster. And this is basically showing the process of growth for the amethyst cluster. We also have some various blocks over here too. So we have a block of amethyst and we also have a budding amethyst. Now there is a very significant difference between these two blocks. The budding amethyst would allow these amethyst clusters that we've just taken a look at to grow on top of it, and the normal amethyst blocks will not. There is also another significant difference as well. So if we change to survival mode real quick and place these 2 amethyst blocks down and we grab our pickaxe, you can see that we can mine the normal amethyst block, no problem, and we can pick it up. But if we try to mine the budding amethyst like this, you can see that we cannot pick it up. You can also mine the amethyst clusters, so if we just go ahead and do that, you can see that once we mine it, it drops 4 amethyst shards. But if we try and mine the amethyst buds, you can see that they drop absolutely nothing. And the 2 other blocks that we have here is the calcite and tuff. So if we go ahead and place these down and go into survival mode, just place these down anywhere and mine them up, you can see that we can mine both of these blocks just fine. And if you're wondering where to find this amethyst, well, you can find it pretty much anywhere underneath the ground. So if we just hop underneath the surface here, we can see we have some amethyst here, and this right here is what is known as an amethyst geode. And as you can see, it features all of the blocks that we've just looked at, and man, does this look cool. I think I also forgot to mention that these amethyst clusters emit light as well, so honestly, this creates the coolest atmospheric environment. This is definitely my favorite addition to the new snapshot. The best part about this is that these amethyst geodes are not even rare, so if we just hop out of the wall here, and you can see, well, there's one already down there, and as we fly around we can see many more of these amethyst geodes. There's one down there, there's one down there. As we fly over here, there's another one, and as we're flying around you can see that we're seeing quite a lot of these amethyst geodes, so they're definitely not that hard to find. Another cool thing that's been added is dripstone. So if you take a look here, we have a dripstone block, and we also have pointed dripstone, and the pointed dripstone can be placed facing upwards or downwards, and the proper name for these is a stalagmite, which is the one going upwards, and a stalactite, which is the one going downwards. These blocks can of course also be mined, so if we just take a look here, we can mine the dripstone block like so, and we can also mine the pointed dripstone just like this. So there you go, dripstone. Next up we have powdered snow, which you can see just on the right here. It does look very similar to the regular snow block, but it does in fact act very differently to it, and you'll see that just in a minute. So if we go over here and we attempt to walk up the snow blocks, you can see we can get to the top, no problem, easy peasy, it's all fine. But if we walk over to the powdered snow and attempt to do the exact same thing, you can see that we can't do that, and we instead start to freeze. So very strange. So once you're actually inside the powdered snow, you begin to freeze, and you'll see in a second we will actually start taking damage from being in here too long. So there you go, you can see that we are now officially freezing, and we are now taking damage from basically being too cold. So if we just exit the powdered snow and just walk away from it, you can see that everything will begin to return to normal, and we will start to unfreeze. Now there is one way you can combat this, and it is very, very simple. All you need is one piece of leather armor. So if we just go ahead and put on this leather cap right here, you can see that once we go inside the powdered snow, we will no longer begin to freeze. It doesn't matter how deep we go, we will no longer start to freeze once we go inside the powdered snow, and as you can see we can still no longer actually walk up it. Unless you have leather boots. Now leather boots in my opinion is the best piece of leather armor you can get, because not only will you not freeze when you put them on, as you can see we don't freeze just like we did with the helmet, we can also walk on top of the snow just like this. So in my opinion, leather boots, definitely the way to go for this, because they will stop you from freezing, and you will also be able to walk right on top of the powdered snow. So honestly, leather boots, big yes from me. Now next up we have the lightning rod, and this is honestly a feature I've been waiting to be added to the game for such a long time. Now as you can imagine, this does exactly what the name suggests. It conducts lightning. Now this baby's going to protect an area of 4x16 blocks around it from, you guessed it, a lightning strike. So honestly, this is going to be an absolute lifesaver, because how many times have you had a house been struck by lightning and it's just burned to the ground? And this thing can be crafted with just a few copper ingots. Definitely an investment worth making. You can just go ahead and plonk this thing on top of your house and you'll be good. Now this is something I did not expect would ever be added into the game. We now have candles. So as you can see, you can get every single colour of candle, as well as the plain candle as well. And if you want to craft yourself one of these candles, all you have to do is put a piece of string along with a piece of honeycomb in a crafting table, and you got yourself one of these plain candles. And of course, as you would expect, if you would like to make it a coloured candle, all you have to do is put the finished candle in the crafting table with a piece of dye, any dye you want, and there you go, you got yourself a nice coloured candle. Another really cool thing I've been waiting for a very long time is lava inside cauldrons. Yes, you can now put lava inside a cauldron. You can also put powdered snow inside a cauldron as well. So honestly, this is a big yes from me. And we also have bundles. Now from what I understand, bundles are basically portable chests, so you can pick stuff up in them. So as you can see, we have some stackable items. We can pick those up, we can drop them down just like this, and we can also pick up some other items that are non-stackable as well. So as you can see, we have the item inside the bundle, and we can just right click to release it and pick up something else and have that inside the bundle. And you can also drop that, walk away, come back to it, and it will still be inside just like this. So I don't really know too much about it, but the concept certainly does seem very cool. Another thing, spyglasses. Now this, honestly, it looks incredible. I mean, just look at this, and it does, I mean, essentially it does what the name suggests. It is a spyglass. You can zoom with this thing. It is essentially a zoom feature inside of Minecraft. Now, I mean, I don't really know what to make of this, but honestly, it is extremely cool. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. So that's pretty much it for the latest snapshot. I hope this video was informative and at the very least gave you an idea of what sort of things you can expect to see in the official Minecraft 1.17 release. I will of course be covering any new additions in later snapshots, but for now that's all for today, and I will see you next time.